I will give you a few moments to try to find me. I have no idea what just went on, but it froze up on me. So I will give you a few minutes. In fact, while you're trying to figure out where I am, I had to start a whole new stream. I hate when that happens, but the internet must be very busy today. I have a feeling there were a lot of fun games and new computers, everything had by a lot. So we will wait and hope you will find me. And I will untangle some yarn while we wait. So I had a great Christmas. We did a Zoom meeting with my kids. And then the most fun thing was that we played an online video game while we were Zooming. How cool is that? And it was a lot of fun. I'll have to try to figure out how he found it. And maybe you did find us. Yay! It just stayed frozen. But the good thing about it staying frozen is I was able to go upstairs and find, let me turn this lamp off. It's just too bright for a Deb. But I was able to go upstairs and find another present that I got. And I will show you. This is a mess. Michelle the quilter found us, Teresa Djukovic. Yay! I'm so tickled. I hope people will be able to find me. And I didn't know what else to do but to start it over again because it was just frozen up. I could see all of your typing, but that's no fun. So, I need to ask Susan. Susan, sweetheart, are we thinking of doing one of our club member jitsies after this? Because I told Mark, I said, don't expect me until 6 o'clock. So I figured we could just go straight from this to that. But it depends on if that's okay with you. And if it's not, that's fine too. We'll pick another time. But I got a sweet Christmas card. It is so good to see all of you. All of you. So I will give you a guess who sent me this. She asked for my address. And of course I said, sure. And, but see if you can guess who sent me this. Who wants to guess who sent me this? Anybody know? Yes, Sonia got it. Oh, all of y'all did. That is Miss Linda McCollum's work. And let me tell you, Mark was fascinated with it. He said, oh my gosh, look at all those little stitches. And he didn't know what the yo-yos were called, but he said, look at all that gathering. And look at the French knots on the lace. Is this beautiful or what? And it's all her collected treasures over the years. And it is just beautiful. See all the stitching over here? Isn't that amazing? So this is what she is going to be teaching us how to do. As soon as we have time, we'll all get together on a Jitsi. It's another reason to join our group. And we're going to get together on Jitsi so we can all see each other and talk. You don't have to be on camera, but it gives you the option and we can just talk. So no typing. And that way we can learn from Miss Linda. So that wasn't the only thing she gave me. Look at this. Look at this. Is that the cutest? Look at this. Your Wi-Fi has changed, huh, Teresa? Yeah, that was the oddest thing is I went to move the camera and it just froze. Okay, and look at this. This is the cutest little bird. Isn't that cute? And, Nikki, you might not want to look at this. Nikki's going to want this. She loves her owls. Is that the cutest? And you know what I love about this? I said, she's making great use of her stash. if you've ever looked at your fabric and thought, how am I ever going to use all this up? These are wonderful. I mean, some of them are shirtings. They're just fabrics I recognize. I recognize some of the prints here and there. They're wonderful. So what a great idea. Sit around in the evening. We shouldn't really be going out and shopping. So use your stash and look at it in a whole new way. But we all have little bits of lace and buttons and Bonnie, I know, has tons of DMC floss. So she can do all kinds of that. But isn't that just lovely? This is a treasure, and I'm going to treasure it. So thank you, Miss Linda. That's absolutely lovely. So, you know what? I should have. Oops. Let me see. Hold on. I'm not going to let you go anywhere. But let me see if the other stream is going and let me kill it. So hold on 1 second, okay? Good. It came up. Let's try this again. It's weird looking at myself on the old video while we're talking on the new one. So let me see. I think it has stopped. I think it has stopped because I dismissed it. So yes, I think it did stop. So cross our fingers because I don't want anybody over at the old one. So anyway, Susan, thank you. My gosh, she's so amazing. So before I was showing you, I was trying to untangle that. Didn't finish. But anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun. And I thought when we get to the stage where we're just sitting and chatting, what I'm going to do is start at this end, and I'm going to put one like right here, stitch it with my sewing machine and stitch it in place, then move them the rest down, then go a few more inches, stitch that one in place. And once I stitch them in place, I'm hoping they won't tangle quite as easily. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. So today you asked for hand sewing and hand quilting. So I'll be working on those today. I was thinking this morning, because I always try to think of something new to talk to you about. And I was thinking, something I have noticed lately. And what I have noticed lately in my goings on are, what is that yawn? I don't know why I'm yawning. I guess because it's a little warm in here. I'm getting sleepy. Let me get some just ice water, folks. I promise. With only one kidney left, I don't take chances. It's ice water. But I was reading an article in a McCall's magazine, and I've read articles in Quilting Arts magazine. And I thought, what am I going to try to get into this coming year? Because, we've got a new year starting, and I always like to look at New Year's and think, what new things could I do? I've been noticing the different kinds of materials that are being used in quilts, the non-fabric materials, okay? So here's the one I was looking at most recently, and this was in the McCall's, the brand new one, the January, February 2021. And do you see this quilt? This is a sweet little quilt, and and this is a sweet little quilt. See this design? And the paint that she used in this is not fabric. Do you know what it is? It's Kraft-Tex paper. See? Kraft-Tex paper. And what she did is she ironed it. Let me show you a better view. She ironed it before she sewed it down. And that has given it a leather texture. Let me see it. I'm having a hard time getting it to focus, but look at that texture. Isn't that cool? And the nice thing about using non-fabrics like this is you don't have to worry about the raw edges because they won't unravel. So Craftex paper, and she ironed it and it gave it a leathery look. And then she sewed it down on her fabric, on her background. And you know, the Craftex is not too hard to sew through. You might have to use a jeans needle, but it's not like sewing leather, but it gives that look. So keep that in mind. And then a while back, I saw in a Quilting Arts magazine that this one woman who does art quilts likes to use Tyvek. Now, Tyvek is a house wrap. When they're building a house, you'll see this it's white, or it can be orange or pink, whatever. Usually it's white, and they wrap the wood of the house before they put the siding on. That's called Tyvek. And it's an amazing material that's very strong. And it's waterproof, but it still breathes one way. It can let moisture out, but not moisture in. So it's a fascinating product. And the easiest way for us to find Tyvek, unless you want to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy a huge roll, but the easiest way is to save your mailing envelopes. A lot of these priority mail bags are made of Tyvek. And so she took and cut it out in a flower design, let's say, and then she used ink tints and painted it and then stitched it down. And you can kind of manipulate it. And the neatest thing is her flower had a 3D effect. It kind of stood out from her work. So save your Tyvek mailing envelopes. And let's see if we can't find uses for alternative materials. I'll have to find someone that sells. You can just type in the craft paper, Craftex, Kraftex, and it's got a hyphen in the middle. And I'm going to have to trace down some of that because that looks like fun, especially if you could get texture out of it. I have another product that I bought years ago that I've never used. And when you put it on fabric, it causes the fabric to draw up. And that creates really interesting texture. So I think my motto for this year, because you know I've been talking about wanting to do embellishing. Mary Zara's here. Hi, darling. Cheryl Hogan. And Angela Adele is here. Oh my gosh. And there's our Nadine. Oh, Nadine, it's so good to see you. I was watching Rick Steves, and he was in Germany. And I wanted to be there. I thought, my Nadine is there. I could go see her. And but it was wonderful. Oh, there, look at Susan's already got an extension there for the Craftex. So I think it might be fun. But embellishing would be so much fun. And we can try beads and we can try little jewels. You know, they have the little crystals and then I love what Linda is doing and what Bonnie and Susan have been doing, which is hand embroidery. And so that might be some fun things for us to explore this year. So finding I was worried. Remember when I made my rooster quilt? I was worried they wouldn't like the real feathers and the lichen. I used lichen on the tree stump to show a rotting tree stump, but they were great with it. They said, as long as it's attached well, no problem. So, Jamie's Crafty World is here. Hi, sweetheart. Jamie, do y'all remember the day? Because I remember your daughter, and she got her air dry clay. Making those gingerbread men, I ended up making 15 of them, I think. And I just would give them to people. If I did a curbside pickup, I would hand it in a baggie out the window for the person. And it became my thing for this year. So that was a lot of, oh, yes, tell that Crystal hello. Ah, okay. All right. So let me write this down. So I wanted to tell her that my gingerbread men came out so well, and I handed them out like candy. And it made me feel good. You know, that's wonderful when you enjoy making something that gives you joy to give it. So, okay. Oh, I forgot to take pictures of my decorated house. I've got a couple in my little I've got a couple in my folder with I've got lots of pictures to show you today. And I went to the local light. We have the largest light show on the East Coast here at Tanglewood Park. And the Reynolds family, the Reynolds Tobacco family, donated this park to the city. And every year they do a light show. And it was like $15 per car to go through. And we went Tuesday night. And we got there right at 6 when they opened. And there were already miles of people lined up. So I told Mark, oh, it'll take a half an hour to an hour. 2 hours later, we got out of there. But it was so beautiful. Oh, Crystal's made so many things. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, okay. Well, send it now. If you have time, Susan, send it and I'll go look at my email for it. So, but I have had a blast with all of the crafting I have done. And honestly, I think it's really helped me heal and it's helped me get back my spirit. And so I'm so grateful. But it's been wonderful. The only problem I had is I spent a lot of money to send 3 packages out. It cost me $30. None of them, I don't think anybody's received theirs yet. It was supposed to be there last Monday. And the poor postal service has been inundated. Don't get angry at them. It's not their fault. Number one, the post office was hobbled before the election. We know about that. I don't think that's ever been fixed. And then we have done more shipping this year than ever, more buying online. So they are swamped. And so I'm being patient. I'm being very patient. So it is so good to see all of you. Okay. I think let me talk about this before I get into the fun stuff. And you know what, Susan? I didn't even see what you said about us doing a Jitsi or when you wanted to do it. I'll try to look for your answer, or let me see. Maybe I can look up real quick and see if you answered that. And even if you answered, no way, Deb, get over yourself. So, anyway, but it's whatever y'all would like to do. I don't see it still, so I'm going to come back here. Oh, okay. So any of you who belong to our group, I thought I would talk until about 4:15. And then if you're a member of our group, you can come to the website and she'll have a link up there to do a Jitsi. And so we'll just roll right over into a Jitsi. So I'm trying not to take too much of your time, but we'll get to chat with each other and I'll get to hear your voices. It's really easy. You just follow the link and do what it says. And that would be so much fun. Oh, I know what you mean, Deborah, that it is so slow. Poor thing. But okay. Don't forget, this is coming up at the end of this week. New Year's Day is Merry Mayhem's Mystery. And I'm so excited. And if you would like to participate, go to merrymayhem.com. MERRYMAYHEM and sign up for a free newsletter. And the mystery quilt is free. And Mark already said, I know. New Year's Day, you're not to be disturbed. I'm handling everything, the phone, the dogs, everything. And I'm going to be down here early and have all my snacks. He said he would make dinner. And so I'm going to have my lunch brought down, everything. And I'm going to have all this cleaned off so I can just work. And this is a gift I'm giving myself. So if you want to Michelle Lang is here, my sweet Michelle. I love it. Okay. I will go and look for that. But please remember, if you want to do this, it's free. Go to marymayhem.com, sign up for her newsletter, look on her site. She will not send you the clues. You have to go to her site and she'll have the clues listed. Right now, there's clue 1 and clue 2. Okay. 1 is what you need to gather and you're cutting. And at number 2, she's having you make some half square triangles. We can do that easy peasy. So if you have it all ready, your fabric's cut, the half square triangles made, then you'll be ready to go at 10 a.m. New Year's Day. And I don't watch football and stuff, so I'm going to be down here and I'm going to have fun. And if anybody else wants to jitsi that day, then we can do that too. So we can sit and chat and I can tell you, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Or if you're doing it, we can do it together. So Mary Mayhem, a free mystery quilt. And I think it's going to be a winner. Hers are beautiful. I've showed you the ones I've done through her and they've all been winners. So this is great. And it's a good way to use up stash. And I'll show you really quickly. Here is the first page. It's case number 145, a Mary medallion. I love medallion quilts. Here's the second clue, the half square triangles you'll be making. So I think we'll be ready. So at 10 a.m., then we do clue 3. So if you have it all ready, and if you can stay focused, you'll have a top at the end of the day. If you're like me and we get easily distracted or get chatting, at least you'll be well on your way. So marymayhem.com, I highly recommend it. Miss Mary is wonderful. And I love doing her mysteries. And as I told you, it is a wonderful way to improve your quilting because you're focusing on one technique at a time. And that is so good, especially if you're like me and you want to hurry to see what's going to be at the end. And you kind of just, you work on one technique, one tip at a time. And that way you have a chance to master that before you move on to the next step. All right. I showed you my garland that I'll be working on in a moment. I was going to try to have my Christmas tree quilt done, but I didn't. And it's okay. And I'm not even going to feel a bit guilty because we've had a great Christmas and I've had enough to do. So I'm not going to worry about not getting this done. So, and there's a new member of our family, and I'll be showing you during our pictures. And so that's exciting. I had finally took some time last night at the end of a busy couple days. I took my time and worked on my Pysanky, which is the Russian, German form of egg decorating. It's usually done at Easter, but it's fun. And here is my egg. We're going to have the reveal today. Okay. Oh, your dad loved the gift of the deer. Oh, I'm sure he was so tickled. And that was a lot of love that went into that, Miss Nikki. But here's the egg, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the reveal. And what it is you have a thing called a kitska. And I like the old fashioned way that you use the candle. This egg is thumping inside. The one thing about Pysanky is try to use a fresh egg and get it done pretty quickly. I think this one has dehydrated a lot. If it is solid inside, I'm going to have a mess. And with the traditional Pysanky, you don't get to blow the insides out until you're done with it. So if you break it or collapse it, if you damage it, all that work went for nothing. But anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'll tilt the camera down. I'm going to heat it up and wipe off see that black? That is the wax. Okay, so I was telling you, you use a kitska, and it's got a little like cup with a point on a plastic handle. And here's beeswax, the best wax to use. You can use paraffin, but beeswax melts so good, goes on so smoothly. So I bought a big block of beeswax, cheaper that way. And you can see where it's kind of dark. Well, that's because you hold it over the candle flame. You don't hold this. No, the kitska, you hold over the candle flame and get it nice and warm because it's metal. And then you take this and you rub it on the edge of the little cup in the kitska, and it fills the cup up with wax. And then it's like about the size of a pencil. And then you use the little spout on the bottom of the kitska, the little point, and you fill in. You start with a white egg. Whatever you want to remain white, you use that wax, put that wax on. So that's why you want a tiny little point on it so that it can do fine lines, and you'll get to see that. So then you do whatever you want to stay white. Then I took blue, put the egg in blue, and then after it dyed, I have a special dye that I put it in. I dried it, and then whatever I wanted to stay blue, which all these black spots, the black comes from the soot created by heating the kitska up. But the black is actually a good thing because it really helps you see where you've got the wax. And so where I wanted the blue to stay is where the black is. And because I put a big blob of it. So then after I did that, I put it in a deep violet. I dyed it one more time, a deep violet. So I'm going to point this down and show you how I start to reveal. Let me get we don't want to melt that beeswax. And I bought a box of bar mitzvah candles or Hanukkah candles because they are made to burn slowly and they don't run, because I didn't want to waste the wax. It takes me one candle to do one egg one time. So it can, you can go through a lot of candles, but I went on Amazon and bought a box of Hanukkah candles, and they burn very nicely. And then I keep good old-fashioned matches, which usually work. And let me light the candle. Okay. And then I get a paper towel, and I hold the egg up to the candle. Now, be careful how close you get the egg to the candle. You don't want to cook the egg. You just want to heat up the beeswax. And that's another reason to love the beeswax, because it has a low melting temperature. So you don't have to take too long. But you hold it up here until you see the wax get nice and liquidy, and then you rub it off. So let's see what we get. A lot of times I notice that my lines might not be very straight yet, and sometimes I don't cover enough of the area, so it's not always a solid cover. But I'm getting better at it. This is not something you just pick up and you're amazing at. This takes a lot of practice. This is one of those hobbies because I like to sit in front of the TV with Mark in the evening. I have a lot of different crafts. This is supposed to be, to me, this was going to look like peacock feathers. But see the difference in the egg before and then during the reveal? One of the things I like too about the wax is often it'll leave a little sheen on the egg, kind of preservative, I think. But if I want, I can always use the triple thick acrylic and put a nice glaze on it. Okay. But see how I have it up beside the candle, but not, let me see if I can get this a slightly different angle too, because I want to show you, I have it right up beside the candle, not over top of it. If you put it over top the candle, you would get soot on the candle, which you would not be able to get off. But I just put it up beside the flame like this. Now, I keep talking and it makes the flame move. But you quickly wipe off. I think this is going to be a pretty one. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more, but you get, because y'all don't want to sit here and watch the candle flicker. But I've done probably a half a dozen eggs in my life, and I have a long way to go to get very good at it. It has a long learning curve, that's for sure, because you really need to know exactly how to handle the wax and exactly how to dye it, how to get it smooth enough, how to have enough wax but not too much wax. And if you slip and get wax where it's not supposed to be, it ruins the design because the shell of the egg is porous, which means once that wax gets in there, no dye will be accepted. So it's one of these that you really have to know what you're doing to get a good result. This is not something that I would be able to sell anytime soon because there's no way it would be perfect. A lot of people now use wooden eggs and use paints and just paint them instead to make it look like it. But I don't know about y'all, but I kind of like doing things the old-fashioned way. I feel like some of our hand arts are being lost. That's why I want to learn how to do bobbin lace. I want to learn how to do tatting. I want to save these hand arts. And honestly, it couldn't be a better time to do stuff like that because we are at home. Life is a little bit slower. All right. So I blew out my candle. And now I'll show you. This is what it was before. And look, isn't that neat? Now, I would have liked to have had a little more contrast. So I'm still going to have to work on that. The violet up in the lined areas needs to be a little darker for me to get a contrast that really stands out. But for a beginner, I'm happy. I will take it. I'm a little worried at how I'm going to manage to blow this egg out. And I probably should do it outside because it's probably rotten by now. These have been outside of refrigeration for weeks and they're store-bought eggs. So I have no idea when it came out of the chicken. Oh, we'll see. But I'll show you one more time close up. and I just drew the design on by hand and then went over it with the hot wax. Those white lines, that's right where the wax went. And you saw the black wax, and that covered up the light blue before I did the violet. So I will get better and better. I have to learn how to dye an egg. That it all is tricky, you know, and especially not get dye over the whole kitchen. So I will keep working on it, but that was fun. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love doing interesting things or love doing different things because, you know, until you try things, you never know what's going to be the craft that really gets you excited. You know, you see the paper towel gets with the blackened wax all over. She would like to know why you can't blow the egg before dyeing. The problem with blowing the egg before dyeing is it makes it very fragile. And also it would float in the egg dye. And you need it to sink in the egg dye so that you get the uniform coverage of dye. So I've tried, some people do it by blowing them first, but then holding it and stuff. You just got to be careful with not having a mass inside of it. You can crush it easily. And I have big hands, so I would probably crush the little egg. So thank you. That was a very good question. So I'm just a curious person. I don't know how talented I am. I think I just try. I just try everything because I'm always curious. What happens if you do this? What happens if I want to show you my Lone Star in the back. That was a class I took with a woman by the name of Amy, Aimee Griffin. She's out in Washington State now, and at least the last time I knew. But I took this class from her, and it's a Lone Star made with all half square triangles. So you'll notice it kind of has a square in the middle. The one thing I'm disappointed in is the tips of it. It was a black fabric with gold filigree. Well, from a distance, it fades right out. I thought it would be spectacular for the tip points, but I should have used like a solid gold, something really to stand out. But that is, if you want to find the pattern, she went by Overall Quilter. And I'll type her name here, Aimee, Amy Griffin. And so if you want to try to find the pattern, because it's really cool. I can make half square triangles till the cows come in. So I enjoyed that quite a lot. I did the border myself. That's my own idea of a border, and I really like it. Came out pretty cool. So I just thought I would show you that one today. All right. Now, what else have I been doing? Well, I'm going to show you this. I couldn't find the right container, so that's why it's not finished. But I have been working on, I want to make like a little diorama. I wanted to make like a little snow globe, okay? I wonder if this would be, I don't know if it's possible to glue something on here and turn that into a snow globe. But anyway, I took my polymer clay and made these miniature little snow people. This is Mama in her kerchief, and this is Papa in his hat, and this is Baby in their little ski hat. And let me tell you what, I'm not as crazy about working in miniature as I thought. When you have big hands like mine, it's a little tricky. So, okay, let me zoom it in just a touch more. But they are tiny. They're an inch tall. So, and Papa's just a little bit taller. Altogether, he's almost an inch and a quarter. And then I made tiny little wrapped gifts to be in the scenery. And then I haven't figured out how to glue these on, but I made some, let me find it. I made some tiny little twig arms for them Let me see if I can put my hand. There you go. Put some tiny little twig arms that I'll have to figure out how to glue on. This one, it's just glued on her side for now. I haven't figured it out. And then I even made a little bonfire, a little log bonfire. So I'll put them around the fire, and I have, the little Christmas trees you can buy. But I have these, and then I have their little presents, and I have those cute little Christmas trees I'll put around it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my air dry clay, put in the bottom, and then glue on some pretend snowflakes. And I have some little styrofoam ball snowflakes, and then I'll glue something on top and make a little snow globe. So there you go. So that's what I worked on one night. And let me tell you, making those little tiny carrot noses, that's tricky. So there we go. I had fun. I told you I'm very much a child at heart. And let me put all this in the jar so I don't lose it or break it. But I thought I might even use some stuffing as part of the snow. But I'll get that out of the way. So that's something I worked on this week. So now let me see. I didn't finish the Christmas tree. All right. So I'll get this. I'm going to show you a couple different things. All right. Let me try to find a needle. Let me see. Come on, needle. I like using fine needles small needles to do my hand sewing. So I'm going to show you first just a couple little tricks for hand sewing. Yeah, isn't it funny? When we get older, we never regret being made to learn how to play an instrument or to learn how to knit or sew or anything like that. Let me get this. I've gotten to the stage now where it's a little harder to thread a needle. I was so tickled when I saw a technique that a woman laid a thread on her palm and then managed to rub the needle over it, and it threaded itself, but it never worked for me. Okay, so now you start off hand sewing. I have threaded a size 9 or 10 needle, and then I take the needle, I put the thread on it, and I wrap it. Now, I like to wrap mine a lot because I snug it up pretty good. So I wrapped it 3 times. Then I put my finger around the wraps, and I just pull it until it gets as close to the bottom of the thread as possible. And there is your knot. All right. Now I'm going to cut the excess off. All right. So now let me show you. And, you'll never be surprised. I used to say I would never hand sew. And then I went to work for a costume shop, a historic costume shop, and found that if you anything that showed on costumes that were supposed to look like the 1600s had to be done by hand because, of course, there were no sewing machines. So I'm taking these 2 4-patch blocks, and they've been pressed the right way so I can see how I can butt the seam right up like that. Then I'll put a pen there. Now, if they weren't if it wasn't so easy to butt these up because they're pressed the opposite way, then I would do the 3-pin method, okay? So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to do hand sewing, because you'll find when you get to be like me, I take hand sewing anytime I go in the car. All right, even if I'm going to, now not when I have to drive myself, but when Mark is driving. Okay, so now what you do, if you are not sure what 1/4 inch is, you can use some 1/4 inch tape. And this is for sale at a lot of quilting shops. And you would take and put the tape even with the edge of the fabric, like this. And just, this is the easiest way. You can also do the add 1/4 or just mark the 1/4 inch stitch line. Okay? Up, there you go, Bonnie. The lines on a index card are 1/4 inch apart. So I have been doing this long enough that I have my eyeball 1/4 inch. So here I'm going to start. I come in 1/4 inch. I'm 1/4 inch down. I'm 1/4 inch in, and I come in here and I take a small stitch. I pull it through, see my knot, and then I come back and do that stitch again. I come back at least halfway and now make a stitch. That's a locking stitch. Okay. Oh yeah, I am pretty lucky. I have learned to do this in the car because I used to be a child that got nauseous. So, let me turn back on my light so I've got good lighting to show you. Okay, so now you see where I went halfway back on the stitch and I'm making another stitch. Okay, so that's my locking stitch, and then I do one stitch. Now you notice when I'm doing it, my needle stays still and I move the fabric. That's how you do this. So you lift the fabric up, push it onto the needle, then push the fabric down. You lift it up, you put it down. See how easy this is? And this is how you get nice, small, even stitches. You see that? And I'm talking to y'all and not only half paying attention, but yet, do you see how even my stitches are? That comes with time and practice, but also it comes by moving the fabric, not the needle. Okay? Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches loaded. I'm going to go ahead and push it through and pull it out. Okay? And see the stitches? Now you have to start again. So what you do is you come back, do another locking stitch, which you start before the last stitch. You come, make a stitch, and then you just rock the fabric on and off the needle. Okay, I've got as many on there as I want this time, so I'll pull it through. Then see this right here, the seam allowance? I'm going to move that out of the way. Now you would think, because if you sewed it on a machine, you'd sew right on top of that, but you don't do that here. Watch this. You come back a half a stitch, got to do that locking stitch, and off you go again. Now you're going to come right up to the edge of where that's sewn, okay? You come right up and try to feel where that seam is. And I can, and I just worked right there, do an extra little stitch there. Then I'm going to come through the seam allowances over to the other side. Okay, so the seam allowances are not sewn down. And this, I was taught to stitch this way by Jenny Beyer. And I do anything, if Jenny Beyer told me to stand on my head, I would do it. So she does know how to sew. Now under here, you've got the other seam allowance. So now I push that out of the way and I come down right at this 1/4 of an inch. All right, and here we go. I do a stitch there. Remember, when I start my first stitch, I always come back and do a locking stitch. So I came back, I'm doing a locking stitch, and now this is the easy part. I just stitch down to the end. So I just you can see me how I push the fabric back and forth. And this is the easiest way to do it, and you can carry on conversations, you can watch TV, and you just get a rhythm doing it that you can actually be pretty fast. Jenny Beyer does all of her piecing and quilting by hand, every bit of it, and she's very productive. But she said all of those lost moments, waiting for a doctor's visit, waiting at an airport, she said by hand sewing, she actually gets more done. So now at the very end, I'm at the very end. So I do a locking stitch to finish it off. See how I went back a 1/2 stitch? Now I pull this through and leave that loop, and then I run the thread up through the loop and pull it, and that gives it a knot. Then I put the fabric on the desktop. Whoops, hold on, Deb. I'll get this right. Okay, I put the fabric on the desktop, or on the table here, and then I'm going to take the thread and loop it in my hand and come up under it. Then I put my fingers through that loop and hold the base of the thread and just let the knot slide right down to the end. And then I trim it. I'll take my pin out. And let's see how I did. There it is. Just press it to one side, and there it is. I would say that's pretty perfect, and I will accept that. And there's my seam on the back. There are my stitches. So I'm very happy with it. Ta-da! So I started out saying, I'm never going to hand stitch. Now I love sewing by hand. So that's the hand stitching. And pretty much, Y seams, 8-pointed stars, everything goes easier with hand stitching. And sometimes just if you're having a hard time getting an area pieced correctly, baste it by hand. Then use your sewing machine, because even if you're a die-hard sewing machine person, there are going to be certain blocks, certain intersections that give you a fit. Hand sewing can be the answer. So also, you're going to notice I'm going to do something. I'm not going to do any more hand sewing right now, but I've taught myself every time I cut the thread, I immediately make another knot on the thread. And that way, when I pick it up to use it again, it's ready to go. So just get yourself in a habit while you're doing hand sewing to always knot your thread before you put your needle in the pincushion. So that's hand sewing. That's easy. All right. Now, let me grab some things real quickly here. I'm going to show you whoops, I knocked the puppy off. Okay, I'm going to show you some hand quilting. This I thought I would use, and it was expensive. It was like $80, and I don't tend to use it like I thought. But you can use it for embroidery. It's a lap stand. And it's really a good one. It's a Grace company. And if you loosen this, then it has the rotating ball and it can change into any direction. A lot of people feel like you need lots of tools to do hand quilting. It's not true. I'm happiest with a ring, with what are these called again? But a hoop. I'm happy with the hoop system. Now, this one's my smaller one, believe it or not. And this one is about 15 inches. But I have the one I really like is about 17 or 18 inches. And the reason I like them big is because I can lay it on my arm while I'm doing the stitches. So let me show you a few little things about this. I taught a class several times on hand quilting, and I really, really enjoy it. And I have all kinds of hand quilting threads. I love my ring pincushion because you can keep it right on your finger. It's just made with a bottle cap that you drill holes through or heat up something metal and poke a hole through, and then you put your elastic, then make a little puff ball for the top, and that way you can keep. This is my favorite size quilting needle. You see, it's about 1 inch long. Whoops, now I dropped it. I will get it. But it is my favorite. And my favorite to use, my favorite needles of all, are John James Golden Glide. Okay. Here's a size 8. That's a little small for me. So I prefer a size 9. And here's size 9. This is a clover. And I love, this is a Goldeye quilting. They're called betweens. Hand quilting needles are called betweens. And then I love using these little dots, are sticky dots you put on your finger that helps grab the needle easier. Or you can use one of these to put on your finger, and it just makes it nice and sticky to grab. Or you can take a rubber glove and cut off a fingertip, then it becomes what you call a cot, C-O-T. Put that on your finger, and it helps you grab the needle. Then, for hand quilting, you just may want to use a needle threader. On the top of this thread is one of those little circles, grabber circles, because that's what I do. I usually use them several times. When I was teaching the class, I gave each student a sample of the quilting thread and a sample of the tape, the 1/4 inch tape. My favorite thimble to do quilting with is this clover thimble, and you put it in hot water, then put it right on your finger, and it will conform to your finger. And these little wooden holders are my favorite thing for saving needles. They do a perfect job of monitoring the humidity so that your needles will not rust, because there's nothing worse than having a needle rust. My very favorite needle is a John James Golden Glide Big Eye. Because it's harder and harder for me to see, I love the John James Golden Glide Big Eye, and it just makes it that much easier to work. But thread colors, honestly, you can buy all these different thread colors, and you know what they'll do? They'll sit in this container. So, and then here's my hunk of beeswax that I condition my thread with. You can also use Thread Heaven. Now, here's some YLI hand quilting thread. I love it. It's got just such a pretty finish on it. But I've got all kinds and colors. But I really don't hand quilt enough to make that worthwhile. So, all right. So I just thought I'd show you some of my supplies that I keep handy for hand quilting. I use old Chinese food containers. Just mark it. Marking everything is the most important. So, oops, I forgot to get some thread to use. So let me grab the thread. All right. Oh, I've already got, here we go, boy. I made out, oh no, this is an 8. Look at how tiny this one is. Isn't that tiny? So even though it's already threaded, I'm not using it because it's been a little while since I did hand quilting, and I'm not ready to use something that small. All right. Let me get those out of the way. And you know, I have the little threaders, but I hate using them because they always break on me. So I have them, but I don't use them. That's a little crazy. And the clover needle threader placed. Oh, that's good. That is very good. All right. Now, when I cut my thread to get ready and thread the needle, I cut it at an angle because, believe it or not, now you have a sharp little tip. And let me put my glasses on. Guys, remember, Bonnie, when you always used to have to say, Deb, put on your glasses. And I do lick the end just to make sure, you know, it's nice and tight and not splayed open. Come on, thread. It's there. It just doesn't want to go in. It might not work. This is the hardest thing because hand quilting thread is thicker. And then you've got a tiny little needle. Let me find that needle threader. If I break it, I break it. You take the needle threader and you stick it through the eye of the needle. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. There we go. We stick it through. Then you put the thread in between those wires. And to try to keep the threader from breaking, then what I do is I hold those wires like this. I'm holding the wires, not the metal, the wires. And then there we go. And then that way it'll extend the life of your needle threader. All right, I pull out about 18 inches. Sometimes, honestly, I'll make it 20, 24, because I hate threading a needle so often. All right, now what I do is I have the thread. I take and run it across my beeswax. Now you can use a thread heaven kind of thing too. What you're doing with the wax, the thread heaven is silicone. You're just making the thread coated so that it won't rub and fray so easily. Makes it easier to get the stitches through, and it makes the thread last longer without fraying, because you can tell when you're doing the quilting, your stitches will look messy if your thread has started fraying. Okay? Now, put this right here for a moment and let's get the let's get the fabric loaded. Whoops, I need more space. Here we go. All right. And see, of course, you'll have your garland moved out of the way. But I love these hoops, and I get a good one, and it will last a lifetime. All right. Now, here is a quilt that I started working on 20 years ago, and I am going to manage to finish it. I've done all the blocks. Now I'm just doing the borders. The sashing looks done. Now I'm doing the borders. So I put down the inner hoop, lay this, and this has already been hand basted together. And then I take and put the outer hoop, lay the outer hoop on it, and you have to usually loosen the wing nut to get it to go on right. Okay, and most people, being very meticulous and careful, I'll show you, hold on just a second. This is where, let me move to the ironing board, because what I'm doing is I'm on an uneven surface, so it's becoming very hard for me to get it on right. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to move over to here. Let me take the camera. Now, this way it's smooth. Make sure the fabric is smooth. Lay this here. I'm going to work on quilting this part right here. So here I go. I press this on it. Let me loosen that. Whoops. Let me make sure I'm going the right way to loosen that wing nut. So this will spread open. And you have to loosen it a lot because the batting and the backing take up a lot of space. All right, so now it looks pretty good. Now I have loaded, the frame on, the hoop. Now I tighten it up almost all the way. But do you see how this looks like a drum? Well, the first thing you do is you give it a little punch. Okay? And the reason I do that is because if it's tight, you will not be able to hand quilt. You have to be able to push the fabric up, push the needle down. So now, you see how it's loose? Now I finish tightening it. All right. So there you go, and you have to have some give. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm trying to see what design I did on this. I'm just going to do some straight lines. The one thing, you can mark a quilt with all kinds of things. My first quilts I marked with pencil, but I won't do that anymore. So what I'm going to do is, and you know, of course you would take a ruler, you would measure and make sure you've got the lines perfectly straight. But I'm in a hurry. So I'm going to do it this way, and let me put, okay. Now, what did I do with my thread I just had? Oops. Oh, it's on my shirt. Be careful of your needle. Okay. I knew it went somewhere. Okay. Trying to get, I'm going to take this, I took the ring pin cushion off. All right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start over about a ½ inch from the line, okay? And you go in and you go in between the layers, in between. And your bottom finger, my finger, right, this finger is underneath and it's helping me feel the fabric. And I'm running the needle in the batting in between the top and bottom, okay? Then I come up on that line. I pull the thread and let me come down here. You see I have the knot right here? What I do to make it easy to keep from breaking off my knot, because sometimes the knot can break off, is I come grab just the top fabric with my needle and I support it. And then I give a tug and boom, the knot popped in and now it's in the middle under there and you can't see it. All right. Now I'm going to pull this back and angle this. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm on the line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a rocking stitch. Now, some of you might say, oh, I can't do a rocking stitch. Oh, I can't. If you take the time to learn this, you will thank me. Because see what I do? I have the needle pushed in. My finger underneath is feeling the needle just come through. It catches on my skin of my finger underneath. I can feel it. See this? See? And then when I feel it come through, I immediately rock it back and push it through. I've got a little stitch right here. As soon as I see that needle come through there, then I will rock it back straight up, push until I just feel it underneath. See how I'm pushing with my finger underneath? Take care, Miss Nadine. Love you muchest. and then I rock it right back. Okay? Because your stitches have to come through the back and through the front. All right. Now, as soon as I see that needle start to come through here, then I go straight up, push it down. I feel it at the bottom because it has to grab some fabric from the bottom. Then I immediately tilt it back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this through to show you. Now, what the most important thing is, not how tiny your stitches are, but how even. So at first, when I used to do my stitches, they were huge. But one thing I had a woman checking it for me and kind of helping me, and she said, don't worry about how far apart your stitches are. They're even, and that's the most important. So as soon as this needle pops through the top, I wrench it straight up. Now you see why you have to have the fabric loose enough. Then as soon as I feel it on the bottom, I go straight down. As soon as I see it come out up top, I go straight back up. I feel for that needle, then I lean it down and push it through. So see how I'm doing? And I never do a back stitch. This is just a straight running stitch. So up and back and forth, and you get the smaller stitches by as soon as you feel it on the bottom, you pop it back up. As soon as you see that needle come through on the top, you lean it back down, and you really are rocking the needle. And your finger underneath is pushing those stitches on. And you see how you let the thimble do the work. Now, Alex Anderson puts her thimble on her thumb. And so she does it this way. She pushes her needle. We're both left-handers. So, us left-handers, we do things a little differently. But anyway, I'm going to do a few more stitches, and then I'm going to show you how to bury a thread. Happy New Year, Miss Nadine, sweetheart. She's in Germany, so she has to get up in the wee hours. Her time is different from ours. She's like 6 or 7 hours ahead. Okay, hold on. If you have to, just back it up and start again. But the rocking motion is the very, very best. And in the winter is the perfect time to teach yourself to learn hand quilting, because it keeps you warm to have a quilt laying on your lap. Summertime is the hardest time to quilt because you don't want this quilt laying all over you. But you don't have to have a frame. You don't have to have a lap frame. All you have to have, some people don't even use a hoop, but I find that a hoop makes my stitches more consistent. If I just did it without a hoop, I would probably have some of it pulled too tight, and then it would be a little bit bunchy. And plus, I want to be able to concentrate on my hands, and the hoop carries the weight of the stitches. Now, notice something in this scene. Here are some of the stitches I did 20 years ago. Look at my stitches today. So in that 20 years, look how much tinier my stitches have gotten than when I first did this. So it's fun. If you're like me and you don't get something done for 20 years, you can then notice that you've gotten better at it. So here we go. Oh, you're hand quilting, Sarah. I love it. And, you're just putting that love in. But it's so important to have the fabric loose enough and to use that finger underneath to guide the stitch length. All right, so now I'm going to stop it at this point, okay? And how do I knot it? What do I do with this thread? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the thread. I'm going to go around and come up under. So I'm kind of doing that, where you go around through the rabbit hole kind of deal. And I'm going to wrap it twice. Then I'm going to come in and grab the stitch coming out of the fabric, hold it tight while I pull the knot down. Oops, the knot didn't get very close. Let me try this again. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do one knot first, then I'll come do a second knot over it. Sometimes I'll do that. So see this knot? This is much better because you want the knot to get as close to the fabric as possible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to this time go just a little bit back. I'm going to go and my finger is underneath here feeling to make sure I have that needle in the batting in between. Do not let that needle go through the bottom layer of fabric. It's got to be in the batting in the middle. I come away from the line of stitching about a ½ inch. I pull and then I support the knot, give it a little tug, and there, it's buried in the middle. Now your stitches will hold and it's buried underneath. Yes, that's Deborah. That is, let me see how mine did. Let's see how I did with catching the thread underneath because that's the tricky part. Oh, I did pretty good. This is my line right here. That's where you have to prick your finger and you end up getting calluses. But sometimes if you don't prick your finger, I'm trying to look, I don't think I missed a single one, which is odd. Usually I always miss at least one, but you have to prick that finger and feel that come through enough to catch. Okay, and here's some of my old quilting. Now, look at my threads, look at my thread length, but they were even, and that's important. Now look at them now. You see the difference? I've gotten a lot better over time, but just as long as you stay even with it. But make sure that when you come underneath that your finger feels that prick. I don't know if you can, let me see. Whoops. I'll go this way. Do you see that finger? I do so much hand sewing. Sorry about my fingernail polish. I was getting ready today and it popped off. But see how the little, it's a calloused, rough finger. And that comes from the sewing and pricking that finger. But, you know, hey, that's what fingers are for. So, okay. So here is the line on front. You saw it on back. And the rocking stitch method is the very best way. If you try doing the dab pull method, you will end up getting sick of it, tired of it. It'll feel slow. Your tension will be all over the place. And I have seen Amish women that, I mean, their hand is doing this. So if you stay with it and you do it enough, the rocking method is fast. So anyway, but that's how you get the small stitches, the even stitches, is that rocking back and forth. It takes a lot of time. The hardest thing is learning to keep tension. You have to keep tension on the needle all the time, or else it'll flip off of your thimble, and then you have to pick up the needle and get your thimble on it again. But give it the time needed. Also, make sure your thimble, make sure your thimble has the indentation. See the dimples? You need the dimples because that's what holds onto the needle. So, make yourself a ring thimble. If not, I sell them. I got to get my Etsy shop. I love this because no matter what length your fingernail is, and what I do is I put a cup of water in the microwave, boil it for 2 minutes, take the cup out of the microwave, drop the thimble in, leave it in 30 seconds, then fish it out with a fork and dump the water out of it, and then put it on your finger. Let it cool on your finger, because that way the plastic will fit perfectly. And it works so well that I've gotten in the shower and started washing my hair and then went, oh my goodness, I still have the thimble on. And I was wrong. This is a Dritz thimble, not a Clover. It's a Dritz adjustable thimble, it's called. My favorite. But whatever thimble works for you is good enough. All righty. And I thought, These are wonderful too. If you don't want your first finger to be chewed up, these are called thimblets. And what they are is, I was hoping to see one open. Here it is. Here's a sheet of them open. So can you see them? Those ovals? They're sticky, and you can take and put it across your finger or on this part of your finger, and you can still, they're thin enough, you can still feel the needle, but it won't prick you as bad. And then the little round dots, the sticky dots, I put on this finger because it helps me when I go to pull the needle. It doesn't slip out of my hand. So I do like that. If you want some 1/4-inch thread, tape. This is like masking tape, but it's only 1/4 inch. This is very helpful. One thing will last forever. I'm also using this on my ornaments, my ball ornaments, and my Pysanky eggs, because it's a great way to mark an edge, and then I can draw along it. So it's helpful for a lot of reasons. Let me put this away. All right. I've shown you that hand quilting. Anytime you want a refresher, you just let me know. I love teaching it. It's one of my favorite things to teach. So I am here for you. Let me know. Let's go look at your photos, because you've got some great photos. Let me tell you. Thank you so much for let me see. Are there any questions? Oh, absolutely. Deborah, the new thing now is, so you want to show those stitches. So people are using DMC floss, they're using pearl cotton, whatever. Some people are doing those large stitches with yarn. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you can use. And the Sashiko, I believe, uses the long stitches. So... Chris, my Chris is on here. Oh, hi, sweetheart. I guess he finished his live stream. That's my son. And I love that boy more than my luggage. Anyway, I just got emotional. I didn't expect to see him. Yep, he's in his 30s. He's growing up. When I was decorating the tree, I found an ornament he made in 2000, and he was only 14. And I was like, now he has 2 kids of his own. He's a busy young man, but God, do I love him. Oh yeah, I didn't know if you would let me show the email, and I only had that email link on my cell phone, and I needed it on my email. So if it's okay to show them our Russell rocking his baby brother, because that, oh my gosh, guys, if I can show you that, that's amazing. So I love my boy. Deborah Donnell, I don't know if I saw it. I didn't see your picture today, but I can check it. Oh, if you can post it here, well, no, I bet you better send it to my email, because I don't know enough about. This is already my second attempt because my internet service got unstable and froze. So send it to my email, and then I can do it. Thank you. I'm getting ready to show them right now, so the timing is perfect. And y'all know I love to show you my grandbabies. I get kind of excited and proud about those grandbabies. So let me see. Oh, good. I got Susan's email. Let me save her picture really quick. I can't wait for you to see Susan's. All right. So while I'm here, I'll check for Deborah Donnell's too. This is fun. See, the nice thing about me doing this is it's not a polished show. It's just me sitting here talking to you. We can do whatever we want. So let's see. Oh, I've got the link. Okay, let me get my camera set up. Now I want to look for Deborah Donnell's real quick. And let me see if I got hers. Sometimes my email gets up. I got it, Deborah. Oh. Save as. I got some good stuff from Miss Deborah Donnell to show you. This is exciting, guys. I love this, and I love your work. I love what you do. You inspire me. So please, keep sending. This is another good time to plug. Don't forget giving thumbs up, subscribing. And if you subscribe and hit the bell, you'll know every time I'm online or I post something new. And send your pictures, anything you would like to share with us, to Our Time to Quilt at twc.com. And we will show it on our Sundays. So now, all right, I have got, let me come back to y'all. I got my email. Oh, I know what I need to do real quick. Need to go back up to Chris's. Let me get my camera in place and I'll show you. What you're going to see is my 21-month-old grandson. He's just turned 21 months old. And he was sitting in his high chair and his mom was making lunch for the boys. And his younger brother tends to get real fussy and doesn't like waiting to eat. So he started fussing. His mama was the only one there taking care of him. And she didn't tell Russell to do this. He did it on his own, 21 months old. And I said, boy, are they parenting beautifully, because that's showing compassion and care and concern. So all right, if you're ready, let me get the camera in place. Okay. Oh, let me start it from the beginning again. Okay, and let me make the picture big. So he had seen his parents rock his baby brother, and that his baby brother would stop crying, and look what he's doing. And he kept going too. And that can't be easy. He's just a little fella. Isn't that the sweetest thing? Isn't that sweet? So I thought that, let me go ahead and get out of this. Let me see. Oh, let me try it one more time in case you might have missed. Oh, stop. But he hears his brother crying and crying. Isn't that the sweetest thing? And he kept going too. I was amazed. But he had seen his parents do it, so he thought, oh, I got to fix this. Isn't that an amazing son? I'm just so proud of that little boy, you just don't know. So proud of that little boy. So, isn't that the cutest? Whoops, let me go ahead and leave the camera here. And we'll go check out the other photos. Okay, guys? Hold on a second.
Feeling, little buddy? How you feeling?
Uh-oh, I didn't. Oh,
Smile.
here's little Donnie starting to smile. I didn't realize I left it on. Oh, so cute. Gosh, don't you love these grandbabies? Let me tell you. All right. While I'm right here on mine, I'll just show you real quickly that we went to, because mine was open, I guess, to see that. But here is the light show that we went to. So it's at Tanglewood Park in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I guess it's probably in Clemens, North Carolina. But I found these pictures on our local Winston-Salem Journal, and they were so much prettier than the ones I took So thank you to the Winston-Salem Journal for posting these photos for everyone. But it is a magical show. I just love it. So much work to set all of this up. And it was a joy to go see it. It truly was a joy. Wish it hadn't been quite so much traffic, but it was still a joy. And what I wish you could see this live because they have the lights that are action motion. Like this one with the squirrel, it has the computerized where the squirrel comes up and runs across. So that photographer did an outstanding job to catch that. Isn't that pretty? And this is open from Thanksgiving weekend till January 3rd. But I'll tell you what, it is very popular and people come from all around to go through this light show. And this is a wonderful old steam engine train that they have at that park, and I love it decorated. That's an antebellum house, so I guess they have those kind of lights there. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? And the lights make it look like a fountain. Oh, okay. Now that was all the light show. Now here's my fireplace. We don't use this fireplace because I have asthma, but I found Mark got me some logs from a tree on our property, and he cut them and wired them together. Then he drilled holes, and I have tea lights, flickering tea lights that I put in those. And that way I can enjoy the look of a fireplace without the damage to my breathing. There it is with the light on. This is our upstairs fireplace. Then this is little Donnie on the quilt I made him. And I love that they caught him looking at all that pattern and design. There he is. There's little Donnie. Oh, wait till you see this. Let me make sure I can get this to work. Let me turn my sound up. It is the cutest thing. So one more video, guys. This is Nikki, my son's wife and the mother of these beautiful boys. And watch this. Isn't that the cutest? I just love to hear a baby giggle. And then here I have a photo of them in their little Santa outfits. 21 months and 3, maybe 4 months. He was born August, so. Oh, this is my Ruth Bader Ginsburg doll from my one daughter. Both my daughters got one. Here's little Donnie sucking on his thumb. Then this is our living room. and big round table. And since Mark is using the dining room as his office, I had to find another surface for all my houses. And then, let's see, here is my Christmas quilt with my Christmas banner. And remember, last year I made those. And here's my table. There's the mantle. So I do have a few things. This is the new member of our family. So she was my daughter's dog, and now she is going to be living here with us. Becky has a standard size poodle that she took with her, but she's renting, and there's not space for both. So we're excited that we get little Miss Maisie, and they know that whenever they want her back for whatever reason, she's theirs. Okay. Miss B. Hepworth sent me a wonderful Christmas card that she made, I believe, for a grandson who had just gotten a lab for Christmas. And how cute is that? So thank you, Miss B, for sending that. She did a great job of making her Christmas cards this year. What a talented artist. Isn't that wonderful? That's so beautiful. Way to go. Okay, then let's go here and see Miss Bonnie. You've already seen the wonderful ornament she made me. She got this back from the quilter, the long arm quilter. I love it. And I almost broke out seeing the hexagons because, you know, I'm very allergic to hexagons. That's why I say be careful never saying I'll never do that. But so far, I'm staying true to the no hexagons. I love her reindeer. They're so cute. And hopefully I've got her picture where she's got her reindeer together. Look at this quilt that she finished. Beautiful, beautiful. A pillow that she made as a gift. I love that. And here she's got them all fused down and deciding what to do with this quilt next. Love, love, love it. Way to go, Miss Bonnie. Here's another Christmas quilt she had done. Hold on, I'll back up. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? So Miss Bonnie has been catching up on just about everything. So she puts good use of her new retirement. Thank goodness. Okay, let's see. I'm so glad she's got that time. Now, Miss Cheryl has been a busy lady this year. This is our Cheryl with a C. And there is her beautiful Currier and Ives style Christmas quilt that she did. She is loving art quilts, and she's very talented at it. This is a snowman she made for her community. And this is a snow woman she made for her daughter. Is that the cutest thing? She's so talented. Then she made some garbage bag holders. And then she made this. I'm trying to remember if this is what she made for a neighbor. But she's so sweet. She made a gift and left it on the neighbor's door. So she played Santa for one of the ladies in her community. Oops, didn't mean to. Hold on. Ah, come on, Deb. Get this straight. Oh, brother. Okay, hold on here. And let me make sure we're still. Okay. Live streaming. Okay. Whew. Scared myself there for a moment. Thought I had lost you all. Okay, we go back to my phone. My son has told me there's a better way to do this, but I haven't learned yet, and I'm still going to try. All right. We already did my live stream, so we don't need to go there. Here we go. Fresh in from the emails. This is one you've seen of hers before, but I just love showing this because I picture myself one day living in a place so magical that I can quilt and look in the warmth, but look out at the beautiful weather. So now let me bring this back down so I can go on to her brand new that she sent. Oh, that quilt is beautiful. She finished it. That is absolutely beautiful, Deborah. Gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Congratulations, all quilted and done. Beautiful. I'm so glad you sent us the pictures because now we could see it in all the different stages. All right. We have here, this is Miss Diana Wright, who we all love dearly. And she's camera shy, so she doesn't always send us pictures, but she is as cute as a button. There she is. All right. Now let me go back to her quilting. I'm going to show some of these pictures you've seen before, but since I forgot to show her 2 weeks ago, her pictures, I'm going to show them again. This is a wonderful Christmas tote she made for a customer. Wonderful. Here is her Christmas star that she filmed in her big Texas sky, and that's where Saturn and Jupiter, I believe, come very close to passing in front of each other. And that won't, and usually it's not at nighttime. Last time 400 years ago, it was daytime. So we are lucky to have seen it this year, and she made sure to send us that photo. Here is a quilt she had on her long arm. She's very, very talented. And let's see. Okay. Hold on here. I've got to always bring it down in size. And I know I'm running longer than I said. Well, when we're done with this, we'll go to our Jitsi. This must be some new fabric she got. Beautiful work. Look at this. She cuts those snowflakes out so tiny. Okay, let me see. Here is that tote for the customer. All right, the inside of it. Oh, she made curtains for her son for his new place. There's another of that wonderful quilt she was working on. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful, beautiful work. She loves Edita Sitar, as do many of our members. Just beautiful, beautiful work. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? And she's getting ready to open that fat quarter bundle. Isn't that the hardest thing? Or actually, that looks like a jelly roll. Isn't that hard? They're so beautiful, the pre-cuts, that you almost don't want to open them and use them. Sometimes they become decorations more than anything. Beautiful work. There's her snowflakes. Diana is so talented. There's a bath mat she made for her son. And aren't these beautiful? And we're sure that she never sleeps. Placemat she quilted for a customer. Look at that snowman. Oh, that is so cute. Thank you, Miss Diana. That is wonderful. Okay, we'll go back to viewer photos. Let's see. Oh, Miss Jody had some snow. So I had to grab this picture for y'all to see because some of us hardly get any snow, so we don't get to see this. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And don't forget, as if I would ever let you forget, this is Miss Jody's beautiful version of Van Gogh. That is so pretty. Okay, let's see who is next. Linda, our artist Linda. And in here is her ornaments. Look at all these cutie pie ornaments she makes and uses lots of supplies she has on hand and then has gifts for anyone and everyone. Just beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we have. Mr. Dean. I showed you this last week, but it's so good, it's worth another look. This is a quilt she saw that she wanted to make her parents. So she did this from just looking at the quilt. How pretty. How pretty. I love it. And her curves are so good. My curves, I might get a good curve and then, oops, I'll get a lumpy one. So she just did outstanding. Thank you so much, Miss Nadine. And the quilting, let me enlarge this for you to see the quilting. It is beautiful. And I love it. When you have a curved pattern, doing straight line is just sets that off. Beautiful job. Beautiful. Okay, I'll pull back. Let's see where we're going next. Patricia Fry. Oh, I saved this one of the Christmas stockings because that's a good Nana who gets a call 2 weeks before Christmas and says, we need new Christmas stockings. And she did a beautiful job with the embroidery. That was the first time on that machine. So good job. All right. Now let me see what else. Patricia. Cheryl sent me some good things. So she won one of our contests from Pineapple Fabrics. And this is some of the fabrics she got with her award. 2 baby quilts. They're so pretty and bright. Look at these pillows. Aren't they beautiful? Yes. Oh, look at this. Happy Festivus. That is so cute. I love it. Y'all are so talented. Oh my goodness. Look at these amazing stockings. Look at the embroidery of the names. Oh, gorgeous. Aw. And then she did some dish towels. They're wonderful. Wonderful. I love the sense of humor. And yes, you have to have towels like this for men to understand that, yeah, dishes need washed too. It doesn't happen by the magic elf at night. Look at that embroidery. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at this. This is so cute. The kitties and the coffee. Oh, wonderful. All right. Yes. Women do work and work hard, I must say. Oh, I love this. This is wonderful. It's a great way to use the positive and negative spaces. Beautiful. Thank you, Miss Cheryl. I'm very impressed. And then I think the last one we have is from Miss Susan. Let's see. Okay. Now, Miss Susan's been very busy. Besides keeping us straight and happy on here, which is a full-time job, she works a full-time job. And look at all else she's been doing. Isn't that a beautiful girl? That's for her granddaughter. And then this is her Christmas in Jacksonville. It's all hand embroidery. Beautiful work. Okay, let's see. Look at this one. This is beautiful. This is her machine applique. And isn't that just beautiful? These are all the blocks lined up and waiting for their sashing and to decide what order they go in. That's so pretty. So pretty. And we have to have a quilt for the grandson. So here it is. Isn't that precious? He is going to love those dinosaurs. Little boys love dinosaurs. Okay. Now, look at this block. Isn't that beautiful? And this is her Hawaiian block. Look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? So Miss Susan has been doing a great job. And she made this quilt for Miss Nikki. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm so glad she sent this so we could see it. I know Nikki loves it. Loves it. And then here is the diamond painted deer that Nikki made for her dad. And isn't that amazing? Good work, Miss Nikki. Wow. Y'all have been really something. Gosh. Y'all just put me to shame. That is some beautiful and amazing work. Way to go, everybody. Thank you. Let me close this out and come back to y'all. All right. I've ended up talking and talking. So let me ask Susan, since this ran, that's hand applique. Hand applique. Okay, Susan, now you do walk on water, girlfriend. So All right, you guys, you're wonderful guys. Do you want to do, since I went over by a lot, do you want to do the Jitsi tonight or today, or do you want to put it off till tomorrow? Give me a vote right now of what you think you want to do, and then we'll do that. What would you like to do? Would you like to go to our private Jitsi site, the members of our group, or do it tomorrow? Yeah, because I ended up talking too long. Susan, are you available tomorrow? And if you are, what time for us to sit and do our handwork together and just have fun and chat? So what time would be good for our Miss Susan? Around 5 p.m. Does that work? Now, that's 5 p.m. Central Time? Okay, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, which would make it 6 p.m. my time. Eastern Time. Okay, can you make it tomorrow? And I'll put it down here too, and I'll put it on the website so we will remember this. I'm sorry, I thought, oh, I don't have that much to talk about. We'll be done by 4 and then we can Jitsi. So Eastern Time, tomorrow at 5. And what she does is she sends out in our group, and I think everybody that I see here is a member of our group, and she sends out a little thing. You click on it. She'll put it in our group email, our group's IO, and that'll be great. That will be great. And if you're a longtime viewer and I'm familiar with you and you don't belong to our group's IO, send me an email at OurTimeToQuilt. And if I recognize you, WC.com, send me an email. And if I recognize you, I'll send you an invitation to our group. And we love the Jitsi because we're sisters, we're a community. So that's why I like knowing who is going to join our group, because we all just cut loose and we are who we are in our Jitsi thing. So we hope that you can all come and join us. If you're confused, if you don't know how to use Jitsi, then stay in touch with me by that email. Stay in touch and we'll work it to try to help you get on. So tomorrow at 5 o'clock, come and bring your Christmas things, bring anything you want to work on, bring chocolate if you like it, and bring wine if you like that. And we'll just sit and chat and have a good time. Okay, guys? All right. Y'all are the best. It was so good seeing all of you. And if you're afraid to be on camera, then just come and we'll do the voice. You don't have to have your camera on because we love you for you, whatever form you're comfortable with. Okay, guys? Well, I love you the muchest. And I'll do the Jitsi from upstairs so you can see my poor little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. All right. You're the best. Thank you, Susan. At the end of a year, you always think back of what you're thankful for. And Susan is at the top of my list because every Sunday she works so hard to make this possible. So thank you, Miss Susan, Miss Dear Heart Susan. So come and join with us at the Jitsi, and we'll love just hearing your voice. So you don't have to be on camera if you don't want. You can point your camera at wherever or not have it on at all. We just sit and chat and talk. And we're good at that. Trust me. All right, everybody, take good care of yourself. The new year's coming. New everything is coming. Thank goodness. New vaccines are coming. So, thank everybody for being here. Thank you for sending your photos. You make my day. Thank you so much. Take good care. Do something nice to yourself. Yep. Sit down and do something that just relaxes you, just because you are special. Take care. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow night at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Jitsi. So go to our group's IO for the link. Bye. Thank you, all of you. Next week, it'll be the new year. See you then. Bye-bye.